I saw something today in regards to Bitcoin that really scared me. It really scared me, guys. And we got to discuss this. But we got to kind of discuss, like, is Bitcoin going to crash in 2018? Is this going to happen? Or are we going to have some negative things happen? I'm going to show you guys a lot of things that will kind of open up your mind to kind of see in both angles of it why Bitcoin might not crash and why Bitcoin could crash in 2018. Kind of explore this. And Bitcoin, something, in cryptocurrencies in general, is something that I used to not like to talk about at all because people would always request it. And I was like, I don't really want to talk about it. Now I really love to talk about it. One, because there's so much interest in it. Two, because I don't have a stake either way in this game. I'm not short Bitcoin. I don't even know if there's a way you can short cryptocurrencies and things like that. I'm sure there is. I haven't looked into it. But I'm not short anything. I'm not short any stocks that are related to Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies. At the same time, I'm not long. So I'm completely unbiased in this whole game. I'm just kind of looking at it from my perspective as an innocent bystander and just watching all this. And I know a lot of history of the markets and different things that have happened and whatnot. And like I said, I saw something today that really, really scared me, guys. So let's look at this here. So if we see here, Bitcoin has hit a record high after passing $9,000, and it's close to reaching 5 figures as investors in the cryptocurrency shrug off warnings of a bubble. The cryptocurrency rose to an all-time high of $9,700 on Monday. It's now worth more than 7 times an ounce of gold, which is seen as the safe haven in times of turmoil. And by the way, Bitcoin's up well over 1,000% this year, guys. It's absolutely insane. Now, this guy kind of has a negative perspective on it, Wilson added, but for traditionalists, it's hard to fathom. Rather than a commodity or currency, Bitcoin is like owning a stock in a company that will issue 21 million shares and will never, ever pay a dividend. The only way it has, and this is a quote from him, the only way it has value is if the next guy is willing to pay more for it. The greater fool with no intrinsic value to Bitcoin. It's hard to see this as anything other than a giant speculation bubble, he says here. We look at the value of Bitcoin, it's just been extraordinary over the past few years, specifically since around 2015 time. I mean, look at that chart. It's absolutely amazing here. And we'll get to the scary part here in just a second, guys. But I do want to kind of address his point there, which was Bitcoin, you're never going to get something back for that other than what the other person is willing to pay for. Depending on what the other person is willing to pay for, it is what you get back in return. It's different than most investment asset classes when you look at something as an investment purpose, right? If you look at a stock, okay, let's say a stock, for whatever reason, you hold the stock for 5 years and it doesn't go up in value. It's still the same value or maybe it's even less. Well, the company hopefully is making good profit. So then you say, well, what the hell? I don't know why our stocks isn't going up. Let's pay out a bunch of money to you in dividends. So at least you get payment somehow, okay? That's how stocks work. Real estate, okay? Let's say for some reason your house doesn't go up in value. You hold it for 10 years, you buy this house, it doesn't go up in value, right? Well, what can you do with that house? You can go rent it to somebody else and you can make some type of income. You can make some type of cash flow coming back to you. If you own a business, right, and you want to sell that business, no one wants to buy your business, right? Well, hopefully that business is making profits for you, and so you're getting a positive cash flow back from your business. Bitcoin is not like that at all. Bitcoin, the only way you hope that it's worth more is if the other person is willing to pay more in the future. It's never going to pay you out money back to it unless somebody else pays you back money for that in the future, okay? It's very similar to gold almost in that sense, right? Except gold actually has some value as far as like people actually wearing it as jewelry and whatnot. But for instance, gold, the only way you're going to make more money on gold is if the next guy's willing to pay more for that gold than what you paid for that gold, okay? So that's very interesting. Now, the thing that really scared me here, guys, I saw something that I'm like, this is freaking scary. Buy Bitcoin with credit card is on the rise on Google, sparking bubble fears. The Google search term, quote, buy Bitcoin with credit card is around its historic peak as price scales to new high. Other search trends show that Bitcoin holds a solid lead in Google quest for digital currencies, even though it has a growing list of competitors. But Mitchell Goldberg of Client First Strategy says that Bitcoin craze is a sign that we've entered the final and stupidest part of the bull market, he says, okay? He says that now on the opposite end here, this guy named Jeff Morris Jr., I believe he works at Tinder, I want to say. He says most of the smartest thinkers I know in the cryptocurrency space are in the cryptocurrency space. You can call this a bubble, or you can educate yourself and try to understand why so many brilliant people are dedicating their lives to this emerging field. And then there's the opposite side of the spectrum here, which is this guy who comes out and says Bitcoin's market cap has passed Disney. Yes, Disney, Mickey Mouse, Frozen, Star Wars, Marvel, Pixar, ABC, ESPN, 12 theme parks, 51 resorts, 387 stores, 195,000 employees, $55 billion in revenues, and now Bitcoin now has a bigger market cap than Disney. It's crazy, guys. Bitcoin has gone parabolic, and that usually doesn't end well. Art Cashin says. I think we're in the stage of basically we're in the fear of missing out phase. He says. Now, I just want to point you out one more thing, and then we're going to kind of take all this into account here. This was the Nasdaq, okay? This was the Nasdaq. If we look here, in 1995, the Nasdaq was under 1,000 points. All right. Over the next 5 years, the Nasdaq rose to around 5,000. I don't know why this chart doesn't show it all the way to 5,000. I believe it hit 5,000 or something very close to 5,000 in the year 2000. Right. Within 2 years, the Nasdaq had fallen under 1,500. Okay. Now, why do I bring up the Nasdaq in relation to this Bitcoin and all this talk? The reason I bring it up is because a lot of the same things that happened during that time are happening now as far as what people are saying on both sides of the fence, all right? So basically, what you had in the Nasdaq bubble, right, the tech bubble as it's called, is you had a lot of people, especially a lot of younger people, a lot of fund managers just funneling money into this like crazy. It was the new thing. Tech companies were the new thing, all right? And what we had is we had people on both sides. We had the older, more traditionalist people saying that the bubble over there you guys got going on, like that's crazy. You have multi-billion dollar valuations on tech companies that haven't even sold anything. Like your numbers are crazy over there. It's a bubble. And you had a lot of younger people and some people who were just trying to make some money in general, right? And they just wanted to hop on the hot trend. They're saying, no, you don't understand over there. This is the new thing. This is going to be huge. You don't understand. We're not in a bubble at all. The Nasdaq's going to 10,000. The Nasdaq's going to 10,000 next year or the year after. We're just going to keep going up. And you have these guys over there, the more older people say, no, you're crazy. And who ended up being wrong? Obviously, in the short term, these people were 100% wrong. It took it took over a decade. It took well over a decade for the Nasdaq to ever even get up to the point where it was in the year 2000. It took like, I think, around 14 years, guys, around 14 years. So the young crowd, the tech crowd, they were 100% right, as in this is going to change the world. This is life-changing stuff, the whole technology world. They were 100% right on the long term. They were 100% wrong on the short term as far as they were in a huge bubble and they were contributing to this huge bubble and then a huge bubble popped. Now, as far as Bitcoin, will this bubble pop in 2018? Is this going to happen? Who knows? I wish I knew. If I knew, I would be placing bets against this whole deal, right? I just don't know, because the thing you need for a bubble to pop, really, you need a lot of fear to come in the market, and generally speaking, you need the economy to go bad, okay? When you get something to pop, you need the economy to go bad. In the year 2000, we actually started having some economic troubles here in the States and a little bit around the world, and that kind of helped it lead into the tech bubble, and then that just fostered more and more fear out there, and then we saw what happened with the tech bubble. So we would really need to have something bad happen in the economy, in my opinion, for that bubble to really pop, which pop means it goes down like more than 50%, okay? But in order for it to go down 50%, I'm not talking about like, Bitcoin went down 10% this week or something. That's like little stuff, right? If we really need Bitcoin to go way down 50% plus, you really got to talk about something bad happening in the economy, okay? Because if something bad happens in the economy, you got people that are potentially buying things on credit cards. That was the scariest part. When you see search terms like people are trying to get into this any way possible. Like I talk to so many people who are involved and just know stuff about money, right? And they're all like, oh, I have Bitcoin. Why didn't I get in Bitcoin? I'm so stupid. Forgot getting in Bitcoin. Bitcoin keeps going up. I need to get in this. Like, how do I get in this? You got people that don't even have the money to stick into it now, trying to take money out on credit cards, trying to take loans to put into Bitcoin, trying to margin, do whatever is possible. That is so scary, guys. That is so scary to me, because that is like bubble 101 right there. When you got people trying to leverage money, just trying to get in there any way possible, it's the scariest thing out there, especially when it's happening in mass, which if you look at these search terms, it's happening in mass. 3% of all searches that are related to Bitcoin, or how do I invest in Bitcoin on a credit card, guys. 3%. That's a massive amount of people. Think about how many people are searching out Bitcoin each and every day. Like, I can't go anywhere without people talking about Bitcoin. And think about how many people search the term Bitcoin in Google a day. 3% of those is like, how do I buy Bitcoin on credit card, guys? That's really scary stuff. So watch yourself out there. Watch yourself 100%, because if the bubble does pop, right, if this thing goes down, right, who knows how long it will take? You might be waiting a long, long time. The people that were in the Nasdaq in 2000, right? And mind you, the Nasdaq didn't even go close to as much as Bitcoin. The Nasdaq went from a little under 1,000 to around 5,000 over a 5-year span. We're talking about the Bitcoin has gone up well over 1,000% in a year. Okay, mind you, that's like way bigger numbers than what was going on in the tech bubble as far as the rate of appreciation, right? It's not even comparable. So watch yourself out there, guys, because even if you're bullish long term, even if Bitcoin's going to be here to stay, which it probably will, okay, doesn't mean you will get your return on investment anytime soon if this thing goes down. If this thing goes down, you might be waiting a decade, 2 decades, before you even get back to the price that it was at when you originally bought it. So just be careful out there, guys. Be careful. Watch yourself at all times, because you never know what can happen. But once again, like, in my opinion, it's going to take something to happen in the economy for everything to go down. And mind you, by the way, those fund managers, when those fund managers have to start selling positions because the economy is going south and whatnot, when they have to start selling off things, The first thing they're selling off is cryptocurrencies. I 100% guarantee you that. If they have to pick, am I going to sell my Apple and Samsung stock, or am I going to sell Bitcoin and, this other cryptocurrency we have investments in? They're selling Bitcoin, they're selling the other thing. They're not freaking selling Apple and Samsung and Google stock and Amazon stock, the things that run the world, okay? They're selling off the cryptocurrencies first and foremost. Hope you guys enjoyed this day. Let me know your opinion in that comment section. Do you guys think we'll have a Bitcoin crash in 2018? You think it's smooth sailing? What type of performance do you think Bitcoin's going to have in 2018? You think it's going to go up another 1,000%? Or you think it's going to be a more modest, like 50% gain or something like that, which is still insane, or 100% gain? I would love to know what you guys think in our comments. I love reading, perspectives from people on the fence about it, people who are against it, people who are all for it. I love reading it all, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.